Fed up with how lawmakers act while in Congress? Wait till you see what some of them do after they leave office. Investigator Charlotte Huffman explains how some lawmakers keep spending campaign funds long after the campaigning is over.
Gentleman from Texas, Mr. Turner, is recognized for 5 minutes.
American politics.
It's time that we just look for this other option.
Is often a battle fought over who can raise the most money. But what happens to all that cash when the campaigns wrap up? We found former lawmakers spending campaign cash on fancy dinners, travel, and family. How? So-called zombie campaign funds. These lucrative accounts hold leftover campaign money. They belong to retired lawmakers who left office years, even decades ago. Our team of investigators from across the country partnered with the Tampa Bay Times. We analyzed more than 1 million campaign finance reports from the FEC's webpage. We found 100 former Congress members, senators, and presidential candidates still quietly spending campaign money long after giving up the game. And nobody seems to be paying attention. When they didn't return phone calls and emails, our Tegna investigative team traveled the country to talk to those politicians, like former Texas Congressman and 3-time presidential hopeful Ron Paul.
Hey, Dr. Paul. Wanted to ask you a question or two about your campaign account spending, sir. Do you just have a moment?
Ron Paul hasn't campaigned on anything in more than 5 years, but he's continued to cut tens of thousands of dollars worth of checks to his daughter to manage his campaign finances. Florida's Mark Foley resigned from Congress in shame when he was caught sexting high schoolers. He spent the last decade, though, spending leftover campaign cash on memberships to posh social clubs, travel, meals, and a personal computer. And the granddaddy of them all, South Carolina's Robin Talon, who hasn't served in Congress in 25 years. He spent much of that time living off his old campaign cash, though, paying for travel, a new iPad, and his country club dues. Outrageous? Perhaps, but perfectly legal.
Hi, this is Cal Jilson.
SMU professor Cal Jilson says campaign finance laws are lax for a reason.
All the laws governing campaign finance and how you can use that money are written by office holders for the convenience of office holders.
The law says lawmakers should never personally benefit from campaign contributions. And after a 6-month wind-down period, retired lawmakers should close their accounts and donate leftover money to charity or to other established political committees. But here's the catch. They aren't required to retire their campaigns. That means these politicians can keep those lucrative accounts open indefinitely.
Of House Joint Resolution 222.
Take Jim Turner from East Texas, for example. He left Congress 13 years ago, yet as of last year, records show he still had nearly $1 million sitting in his campaign account.
I think that in my case, I have always felt that I might have an opportunity to run for office again.
Okay, but in the meantime, Turner's campaign account paid $10,000 to a nonprofit his daughter runs, $14,000 in rent for an office at his family's construction business, and more than $30,000 to campaign treasurer Mrs. Virginia Turner, a.k.a. his wife.
It's perfectly legal and appropriate so long as your family member is being paid a fair market wage.
Then there's Henry Bonilla, a congressman from San Antonio turned lobbyist. He's spent thousands contributing to current lawmakers' campaigns since leaving office about 10 years ago.
At the end of the day, it's either you're writing it out of your own pocket or from a campaign fund that's left over, and it's from you, so it really doesn't matter.
Noah Bookbinder disagrees. The former public corruption prosecutor for the Justice Department heads up a watchdog group that takes politicians to court over how they use leftover campaign money.
When people give money to a campaign, they are supporting a candidate. They want to help that candidate get elected, but they're not giving the money to that person to do as they see fit for the rest of their lives.
Right or wrong, who's to say? But we can say the 100-plus zombie campaign funds we identified are sitting on tens of millions of dollars in cash, with virtually no oversight on how the money is spent. Well, when Congress had the chance to fix this, it was a bill, not surprisingly, they chose to kill. If you want to see how all 100 zombie politicians spent their money, we've put our full database online. You can check it out right now on WFAA.com/zombie. Charlotte Huffman, Channel 8 News.